Hey, how's it going? I'm Hector Melendez, and I'm going to be talking to you today about raising English learners' awareness of allophonic variation of English consonant and vowel phonemes that differs from allophonic variation of similar Spanish phonemes. Um, we're going to start this off with me talking about the phonological system of Spanish is significantly different from that of English. Everybody knows that, particularly in the aspects of vowel sounds and sentence stress. Yes, these differences are severe obstacles to Spanish learners being able to acquire native English language speaker accent. When Spanish speakers transfer the intonation patterns of their native language into English, which is a stress timed language, the results may sometimes be barely comprehensible to native speakers. The information usually conveyed in English by the combination of stress, pitch, and rhythm in a sentence are flattened or evened out by the Spanish learner. I'm going to talk to you about phonemic sequences. Phonemic sequences can either occur at the beginning of a word, between the beginning or the ending of a word, or at the end of a word. Good example would be in English, we have the phonemic sequence of SP, the SP sound, which can occur in all of, I'm going to give you three examples. For example, sprite, responsible, and wasp. In Spanish, that sp sound sequence can occur in the middle, like in the word español, but it never occurs at the beginning of a word. That's why you will sometimes hear a Spanish speaker say something like Sprite instead of Sprite. This is actually true for all sequences of S, plus a consonant. And it's related to language-specific constraints on what a syllable can look like for that language. The simplest syllable type is just a consonant and a vowel, written as CV. Every language allows this type of syllable, but some languages like Hawaiian don't allow anything more complex than that, ever. This is why you get the phrase like Merry Christmas borrowed into Hawaiian as Mele Kaleke Maka. Many languages, including Spanish, allow two consonants before the vowel, as long as the first consonant is a stop or maybe a fricative. Examples would be like P, T, KB, D, G, and F. And the second one is a liquid or glide. Examples would be like L, R, J, W. The maximal Spanish syllable is a consonant, consonant, vowel, consonant, which is why you have words like playa, which is beach, which would be a consonant, consonant, vowel, consonant, vowel. Fresa, strawberry, which is a consonant, consonant, vowel, and tres, which is three, consonant, consonant, vowel, consonant, and duerme, which is sleeps, consonant, consonant, vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel. English allows for up to three consonants before the vowel of a syllable, wherein there are three. The first has to be S, the second has to be voice of stop, and the third has to be liquid or glide. When there are two consonants, either the first can be S and the second a stop, or the first can be a stop or fricative and the second a liquid or a glide. So English allows for words like stray and splinter and scream, in addition to words like stop, spoke, skin, and twin, glance, queen. So when you borrow an English word into Spanish, as the original post points out, all of those consonant clusters that contain an S don't fit into what Spanish considers a regional syllable to be. So speakers will fix them somehow. Um, let's say, like just like with Hawaiian and Japanese, we can do that by adding a vowel. That essential E that you see in Sprite and also in Stephanie compared to, like, let's say Stephanie, or escuela compared to school. The extra vowel means that the S belongs to the previous syllable. So instead of sprite as a single consonant, consonant, vowel, consonant syllable, you have sprite as two syllables, vowel, consonant, 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 vowel, consonant. Spanish and English share a similar alphabet, but when the phonologies of the two languages contrast, many differences arise. These differences will influence the speech of Spanish-speaking children learning English before English language learners have internalized knowledge of these differences that will help the practitioner understand why some sounds in English are difficult for English language learners to perceive and produce. Even the practitioner who does not speak Spanish can become familiar with regular speech patterns of English language learners. English also uses prepositions and helping verbs to help clarify a word, while Spanish often just has a different verb. To look down is hacia abajo, while to look down on is menospreciar. We add prepositions to make entirely different meanings out of verbs. Get up, get out, get over, get down, get across, get behind, to get. The meaning can vary between to grab or to understand, depending on the context. And since we no longer use thou, we only have you, which applies to all people we would be addressing. The English language changes to formal and academic if the person is polite. We always just have you, while in Spanish there is tú, usted, as well as ustedes, or possibly vosotros. For plural, all dependent on social context. Because of phonemic differences among various dialects of Spanish, it is also correction. It will be also essential to know what dialects the child are exposed at home or in the community. Parents, of course, are an excellent source for more insight into the child's speech skills and language history. The clinician who needs assistance communicating with the parents' caretakers can often find another family member, neighbor, or a teacher who can help translate. It is essential to find out when, from whom, and in what context the child began learning each language. If the parents and similar peers have trouble understanding the child's speech and what articulation errors the child produces in the home language. If intelligible, sorry, I had a meltdown. I was saying that if intelligibility is indeed a concern if child's speech patterns if both languages are not developmentally appropriate, and if Q transfer cannot explain speech errors, it is likely that speech services are warranted. Um, if the child just has some serious problems having speech difficulty, just um, best guess would be just start trying at home, talking to him in the second language. And if the people at home don't speak that second language, just try to influence more of the peers. Um, so that'll be my presentation. Thank you for your cooperation. And again, this was raising English learners' awareness of allophonic variation of English consonant and vowel phonemes that differs from allophonic variation of similar Spanish phonemes. Thank you, and have a good day.